I remember these conversations that, that we had around like expansion. And I remember we had an advisor by the name of Simon Baker, and Simon Baker came in and we, kind of drew out this like plan of like, hey, how do we get to $1 billion company? Basically we need to do this. We need to get this many customers signed up, paying this much. And it was like this very clear roadmap in terms of how to scale the company, right? We were, not very many customers at the time, weren't penetrated throughout the country. And basically we had a pretty clear roadmap on how to execute this. And we were fortunate to be able to look around the world and see similar businesses and what was their roadmap. And so when you came in, what I loved about working with you is, I think that if I were to define one of the traits that you brought to the team was just incredible speed, right? Like when you joined, we were, maybe we had a few people, outside of Sao Paulo. It was very early, but it was kind of the mandate was, okay, we need to expand this all across the country because we have Zap and we have Imovaweb, and they're strong in Sao Paulo and Rio. And, we think that there's an incredible opportunity outside of these markets. How do we get there first? And you kind of put together a plan, and then we went out and expanded and executed on it. Talk about speed and how important that is in in an early stage startup environment.
Sure. Yeah. So back in the day, our main competitors were big and much bigger than us in most of the KPIs, but we had confidence that we were building an engine that it had been proven in the city of São Paulo that was gonna be over time with the wave that was being created by users migrating from the offline world to the online world. We were building that engine that would be able to outperform our competitors when the time came. And it came, right? And it came right around, 2013, 14. It was when we looked at our traffic KPIs and we became the leaders back in the day. So what happened was, it's very personal, right? But I remember that in 2012, when I joined, we had operations in São Paulo. We were starting to open the offices around the country. And in São Paulo, we had that SEO machine working really well. We were able to develop the connections with the industry locally to feed our platform with tons of content, which was basically inventory, in our case, listings, real estate listings. And that process, when we executed it in a short time frame, we saw a spike in traffic, right? Proportional to the number of listings and to how dense that content was. So I joined, I see the picture, and we said, hey, the wave is coming. We have to establish these offices around the country to be able to get that inventory as soon as possible, because the wave is coming with lots of consumers and we have to be ready. And to be ready means to have a lot of content, a lot of inventory in all of those cities. So it was kind of an irrational execution mode, right? Hey, we have to do it, period, right? And how do we do it? Well, let's break it in parts and let's see how long it takes for us to open a few cities. And then we were already expanding when I joined. We had people in a few of those offices, but not necessarily managers in all of the cities, not necessarily the processes. But basically, it was, hey, the next 6 months, let's make sure that these 8 cities here where we had started hiring people, let's make sure that we have functional offices there. And then the following 6 months, let's establish 4 or 5 new offices. The following 6 months, let's establish 5 or 6 new offices. And that's what we did when we reached, I don't know, close to 20 cities by 2014. So it was a plan. Of course, we didn't have lots of details of what was going to happen 12, 18 months after the beginning of the journey. But at least for the first 6 months, it was very clear. And the initial steps, right? Let's bring someone who's going to be the city manager, the city leader. Let's support that person hiring 2 types of sales executives. Few focus more on hunting new clients, a few focus more on farming the existing clients. Let's invest in planning, which is something kind of centralized in São Paulo to support those people with marketing, with planning, with systems. Let's roll out Salesforce, the system, and make sure everyone is connected to that platform internally so we can better manage all of the KPIs from the city of São Paulo and support all of the cities. And eventually we were scaling and specializing. So after, reaching close to 100 salespeople, we understood that it was important to internalize a few functions like training or first level support, et cetera, et cetera. So it's easy to say like that right now. Of course, back then we didn't know all of these details, but we had very clear first steps and a lot of irrationality, I would say, that helped us not think about everything else that was happening outside and really executing that expansion plan. And it worked well. It worked out well, right? 2013, we opened the offices. We saw the traction KPIs, and it just helped us have more confidence in that plan to expand those operations in the cities we were already operating and to invest in new cities with the same model. So that was it. And I would say for 2 years, it was almost like irrational execution. That's what we did.